Hi everyone, so today I'm going to try my best to talk about a topic that I'm really not good at talking about because I actually don't like talking about it. But for the past month, a bit over a month, I've been talking to a therapist who specializes in gender and sexuality. And she has been gently encouraging me to talk more about relationships, think more about relationships, and not be so meh about it. So here I go. Before I start talking about present or future relationship stuff, it would probably help you to know some of my relationship history. And when I say relationship, I'm not just talking about romantic or intimate relationships, which is all society seems to give a damn about. The first thing you should probably know about me is that I am very, very much an introvert. Even though I've conquered some of my anxiety over the years, and believe me, it took many, many, many years, in the past, I used to be extremely anxious, even in the most simplest social settings. And although I've always made friends easily when I made them, the key word is when I made them. I've always been a loner. I've always tended to keep to myself, and because of that, I tend to not make friends simply because I don't talk to people to even make friends. And having said that, for example, in elementary school, there were maybe 3 or 4 people who I would call friends. And middle school, there were none. I had no friends. High school, maybe 4 or 5 people I would call friends. And in university, again, I was the loner and I had no friends. Even when I say that I had no friends, I still had acquaintances. I make a distinction between friends and acquaintances are the people who, for example, I was on friendly terms with at school, at club events and stuff like that, but whom I never really spoke to beyond school settings. Friends are people who I wanted to and did interact with outside of school and clubs. At this point, some people would respond to hearing that relationship history with things like, "Wow, so few friends? That's really sad. Wow, you must have been really lonely," with sympathy dripping in their voice and other bullshit. But here's the thing, society likes to pretend that everyone wants a bunch of friends, that the people who don't have friends don't have them because something is wrong with them and they can't make friends. And I am here to tell you, once again, that society is full of bullshit. Not everyone wants a horde of friends. Not everyone wants to be popular or have a bunch of friends, and not everyone is sad when they don't have any friends. Some of us are okay with not having friends. Some of us value quality over quantity. And I feel like Facebook actually is like a physical manifestation of society's assumption that everyone wants friends, a bunch of friends, because on Facebook, I feel like some people go around collecting friends as if they're collecting Pokemon badges, and then they go around bragging to their friends or comparing their friend count, and how fucking ridiculous is that? I'm sorry, but that's fucking ridiculous. When people assume that my childhood had some kind of void in it because of the number of friends or the lack of friends that I had, it's actually pretty offensive. Don't inject your social normative bullshit into my life experience, okay? Anyway, moving on, it wasn't until 2003 that I entered into my first romantic and sexual relationship, my freshman year of college. There was no dating to speak of. In fact, to this very day, I don't understand dating. It was serious from the start. When my friend, and he was my friend already, asked me to be his girlfriend, I said yes, and I wouldn't have said yes if there had been a doubt in my mind that we'd work out to begin with. The relationship started out long distance and then went local and then went back to long distance over the course of 5 years. And that relationship was very much a roller coaster ride. There were so many ups and downs, and in the end it crashed and burned. But I can look back on the experience now and say that I learned a lot from it. Within a few months of being free of that relationship, I was approached about another. And again, it was by a friend who wanted to take what was already a 5 or 6 year friendship to a more intimate level. And to be honest, I hesitated. I was finally free after a 5-year relationship. I wanted to enjoy my freedom. And part of me knew that there was some self-exploration that needed to happen. But I told that friend about my flirtation with the idea of that I might be asexual. This is actually something that I had thought about before my first relationship, but once that relationship began, I dropped the idea. Anyways, when I told this friend about it, his response was, well, if you're going to be sexually attracted to anyone, I'd hope it be me. How am I supposed to respond to that? Anyway, I decided to give the relationship a try, and over the course of several years, I thought that I finally felt sexual attraction to someone. But in the 4th year of the relationship, I began to question that and other things about myself. And as soon as I started doing that, the relationship began to unravel. And that was in late 2012 or early 2013. The point of me telling you all of that is to say that I've only ever been in 2 romantic or sexual role-ized relationships, and both of them were long-term and very serious to the point of having lived with that partner for years. So yeah, I've never even dated. I have never had a short-term intimate relationship, and I wouldn't even know how to go about such relationship. Hell, maybe I don't even want that kind of relationship. I'm kind of into the long-term serious from the start thing. I've now been single for over a year, for the first time in 10 years. And when people have asked me about wanting a boyfriend, silly assumptions, I've always replied with, I'm enjoying my freedom after my last relationship, yay! And they'd be like, yay! But now that it's been a year, I'm starting to revisit the idea of relationships with apprehension. After having what was seemingly a solid future burn in flames with my last relationship, and no, I'm not exaggerating in the least, but I'm not going to go into the details of that now. After having a future burn so badly, I am extremely reluctant to let thoughts of a relationship color my vision of my future for myself. It's much easier for me to focus on the things that I can control to some extent or another, like my finances, my location, where I'm going to live, what job I'll have, having cats. It's easier to focus on that aspect of my future. I mean, what's the point of imagining someone else being in my future? I can imagine my future without that. On the other hand, I'm not a romantic. I do occasionally experience romantic attraction, and I do have a drive for romance. So if I'm being truthful with myself, I would really like to have another long-term relationship, if not a forever relationship in my future. And on top of this, I am admittedly curious about what it would be like to be in a relationship with another self-identified queer person or an asexual. And because, yeah, So far, I've only been in relationships with hetero, cisgender men, and yeah. At the same time, never in my life have I actively pursued a relationship, and I don't see that changing in the near future, especially not while I'm in Japan. I have done the long-distance relationship thing. I've even done the international relationship thing. And let me tell you that international relationships, holy fuck, it adds a completely another level of stress to a relationship, to have the government involved, to have large amounts of money because of visas involved, and to have cultural things involved, not just between you and that person, your family, their family, and stuff like that. International relationships are such a fucking headache. You can't even imagine unless you've been in one. Seriously, it's horrible. And when I say international relationships are horrible, let me put some context to that. All relationships are wonderful, wonderful, wonderful things. It's just international relationships have a lot of additional cons that other relationships don't have. And if I were to get into a relationship with someone in Japan, be it a Japanese person or even another foreigner who happens to not be American, that is seriously going to complicate things. And I'm not sure that I want to be in another relationship where the government and all those other things are involved. I don't know. It's something to think about. Anyway, the point is that I'm in this ever-changing, chaotic state of feeling like, fuck yeah, no relationships, I love my freedom! And feeling like, wow, my bed is really big and kind of empty. Or feeling like, I don't need the roller coaster ride that is a relationship in my already complicated life right now. Or feeling like I'm not gonna find the right person to be in a relationship with anyway, so why even think about such things? My thoughts, my feelings are like all over the place. And so, as I've mentioned in other videos, I like to box things up that I don't like dealing with and shove them in a corner and not deal with them. And so that's pretty much what relationships have been for me for a long time now. I'll probably look back on this video and laugh at myself and how stupid I'm being, but for now, in the middle of it all, I just had to throw this video out there. I'd like to throw a question out to you viewers. How do you feel about relationships? Be they platonic, friendships, romantic, sexual, whatever. How do you feel about relationships? Do you want one? Are you in one? Do you want lots of relationships? Do you want a romantic-only relationship? Queer platonic maybe? Normal platonic? Anything. I am interested in hearing others' experiences because my experience with past relationships very much colors my view of things, and I know that there's so much more to relationships than just my own experiences. So yeah, please feel free to share in comments or reblogs of this video. I'd love to hear what you have to say. Until next time, see ya.